time to play ball. Welcome to the podcast with no limits, whether it be sports, current events, or random thoughts. This is the place to step in and stay a while. Your host is a proud alumnus of Rio Hondo Prep, a former minor league baseball umpire, and a man with strong opinions. Welcome to the Get Home Safe podcast and your host, Matt Hersema.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Get Home Safe. Happy Tuesday. I know I'm a little late today getting this episode out, but it is a Tuesday episode. So here we are. Didn't get to record on Monday night because of the college basketball national championship game, the Final Four, where the road ended, right, for all the teams. Well, three of the four teams, except for the 2022 national champions, the Kansas Jayhawks. What a game that was Monday night. What a Final Four it was. The Saturday, the two games there. First game, Kansas kind of pulled away from Villanova early. I thought Villanova just ran out of gas and was just too banged up to really hang in there. But Kansas was the better team. And then we got an instant classic, really, on Saturday evening with Duke and North Carolina meeting in the Final Four. Their 100th. Well, what did I see? I saw Coach K, obviously, was the story going in. And he lost his final game, did not get to compete for the national championship, but lost in the Final Four to his rival, the North Carolina Tarheels. So the Tarheels take Coach K down, his final home game in Cameron Indoor Arena, and then they end his career in the Final Four. And I saw a crazy stat that Coach K, that was the 100th time he's played North Carolina, and he finished exactly 50-50. So pretty wild there. But congrats to Coach K on an unbelievable career for the Duke Blue Devils, one of the icons really of the sport. And college basketball really is interesting that way, in that the coaches are really the big names, probably because they're there at the programs much longer than the players are. Even though there are some players sometimes who really stick out and some names that we remember forever. But Coach K, the game of college basketball, congrats to him. The college basketball has lost a true icon, a true Mount Rushmore of the sport. And it was North Carolina who, out of nowhere, even though they were in eights, they're still one of the blue-blooded programs, right? They took down Coach K and their rivals in Duke, got to the national championship game. And I got to tell you, Saturday night, we had a lot of fun. Just planned to go to a friend's house and watch the game. There turned out to be some big party next door with a dance floor and lights and videos and all kinds of stuff everywhere. Turned into quite an evening Saturday night after a great basketball game. And then Monday night, a little more quiet, just got to sit and watch the championship game. And I was in shock that North Carolina was up 15.5. I really was. I thought they had a great team who I've watched a lot in the tournament here. Obviously, the more teams go deeper in the tournament, the more you get to watch them. And I was just so impressed with so many of North Carolina's guys, especially their big man, Armando Bacot, who was injured going into the game. Brady Manick, he took a few shots to the face there early in the game. He toughened it out. Their quick guard Love, who was just a sharpshooter all tournament, didn't quite get hot there in the championship game Monday night, but the Tar Heels were just, they went on a stretch there at the end of the second half where they were just firing away and couldn't miss and were defending. They rebounded so well all night. Again, Bacot, the big man, was just dominant in there. But it was Kansas down to 15.5, who came out fiery right away in the second half. Remy Martin, man, he didn't do much really most of the game points wise, but he hit like 3 or 4 big shots late in the second half. David McCormick, what a big dude, what a stud he was going up against Bacot. It was like they were just banging in the post going on. And I felt so bad that Bacot got hurt at the end there. It was crazy that North Carolina did get another shot after being down by 3. They got the turnover and they still had a shot with 4 seconds left. It looked like maybe they were going to get it to Manick coming off the wing over there. He fell down. A lot of guys falling down on Monday night. I don't know if you guys saw that. It seemed to be some issues with the floor. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it was wet, but The final shot by North Carolina fell short, and the Kansas Jayhawks became their fourth national championship in school history. It was basically the Roy Williams Bowl, if you think about it. Head coach Roy Williams, who coached North Carolina, I think, to a couple of titles, and took Kansas before that as a head coach to a championship game. So he was kind of going to be happy either way, I guess. But his heart is definitely with Carolina. So I thought that was interesting. Just a lot of drama. I thought Kansas, they came out in the second half, and I thought they pressured the ball a lot more. There was a lot more ball pressure that kind of threw off the rhythm of North Carolina. It seemed like North Carolina continued to hit the glass, got a lot of second chance shots, but just too little too late there, as, again, Kansas, they got hot late. They came out fiery, again, pressured the ball. Their defensive intensity definitely went up a bit. And maybe North Carolina got a little complacent. I don't know. But once Kansas tied that game, I mean, at that point, you got to be like, hey, here we go. It's game time, right? So game time, the 15-point lead is gone. One of my high school basketball games, we were at 14 in the fourth quarter in a playoff game, and we lost in triple overtime. I'm still mad about it. So I know what it's like to have a big lead in a big game. Not quite the Final Four anyway. Let's see. What did I write down here? So 15-point lead at half. It was 47-29 in the second half. I believe total scoring that was, where Kansas basically outscored, almost doubled the point total of the North Carolina Tar Heels. It was the largest comeback in NCAA title game history. It was actually 16 points, even though it was 15 points at half. So congrats to the Kansas Jayhawks. I know one of my friends, Mike Kearns, who ran track at Kansas way back when, he's probably pretty happy. So congrats to them. One of the blue-blooded programs, my good friend Carlos Martinez, who lives in Kansas, huge Kansas Jayhawk fan. I can't imagine what it was like at the Power and Light District in Kansas City. A few places I used to hang out in back in the old stomping grounds a time or two. But I looked at with Kansas winning their fourth title, I looked at kind of the overall national championships by schools, and it really is just a small group of schools that have not just multiple national titles, but a handful or so. And of course, we know UCLA has 11. Their last came in 95, of course. The other 10 were John Wooden. Kentucky has had 8, again, recent relevance. North Carolina, 6. Duke, 5 titles spread out there with Coach K over a few decades. And Indiana with 5, although they really haven't been relevant in a while. They're kind of on the downward slump for sure. Kansas up with 4, and UConn with 4. Those are teams that have nearly a handful of national titles. I'll throw in Villanova, since they were in the Final Four. They have 3, and then there's a bunch of schools that have 2 national championships. So pretty one-sided, I guess, as far as who wins the national title in college basketball. Those blue-blooded programs you hear about often, but every now and then, like last season, Baylor getting in the national championship and winning that title game. Florida, a school, what was it, 15 years ago now, a school you only thought of really football. They win back-to-back national championships. So it's just a matter really of who can win those 6 straight games, right? In back-to-back weekends, who can put together 3 separate 2-0 weekends. You play kind of those 2 games a week throughout college basketball, whether you play Thursday, Saturday, or Saturday, Monday, or Wednesday, Sunday, whatever it is. Generally, that is the structure of college basketball. And I like that it kind of goes that way into the postseason as well. If you just look at, you're supposed to look at things 1 game at a time, right? But it basically, you look at it in those chunks. Hey, 2 games this weekend, 2 games next weekend, 2 games the next week. You're a national champion if you can go 6-0 there. So after watching the entire tournament, nearly all 67 games, I still could sit here and say that it's the best postseason out there. There's nothing that compares. The instant, immediate devastation of the March Madness. We got to see it last year, right? After it was canceled in 2020, but to see it back with fans at all these different venues and just the crowds. Oh, it was so great. And I'm so glad that we are back to normal in sports for the most part. And March Madness, I'm just, man, I can't wait till next year. And I know most of us, if we're honest, don't watch a ton of college basketball until maybe late February, maybe March. but it did not disappoint. And I'm looking forward to more college basketball next season. All these guys are going to stay for 1 year and go elsewhere, but hey, still one of the best days, best weekends, I'll say, in sports in the Final Four, 2 games Saturday and the game Monday night. And it got me thinking while I was watching the Final Four on Saturday, what are the best single days in sports? I know what the best weekends are. I know what the best months are in sports. Really, October for me is one of the best, hands down, best sports out there. With football going strong, hockey starting up, Major League Baseball in the World Series, basketball start. I mean, it's just an incredible month. The weather starts to cool down. But as far as single best days, I would argue that the NCAA Final Four up there is up there. That's Saturday, where it's the Final Four teams playing national semifinals. I don't know. I was trying to think what else is up there as far as single day sporting events. I would go definitely the Super Bowl. Obviously, all eyes are on that. Kind of right before that, the AFC NFC Championship Sunday. That's my favorite day of the year. The two championship games that lead to the Super Bowl. What else did I write down here? This isn't a championship, but I think it is special. MLB opening day. All the teams, or most of the teams, I should say, starting up their season. There's all this hope, right? It's a day game. People take off of work. There's the American flag and all these great symbolism and everything out there. It's like baseball is back. So I think MLB opening day is special. I would say this, I got some pushback on this, but Sunday, the final round of the Masters. I think the Masters to me is the best golf tournament out there, the green jacket, right? I still don't know a ton about golf, but I do know a little bit about how special that day is. And just, it is fun. There is an intensity about that sporting event, in my opinion. At least if you don't watch the whole weekend, the final day, the final hour or so, man, every stroke, every putt is just like, oh, here we go. Can he hold on, or is he going to catch him? It's just awesome. And then finally, I put New Year's Day in college football. I'm a big Rose Bowl guy. I didn't like when it had to be removed from this state and sent to Texas, but I totally understand why they did that. But if you think New Year's Day, you just think college football, those early bowl games in the morning, that standalone Rose Bowl game in the twilight, and then usually the Sugar Bowl or something, or the Fiesta Bowl or something like that at night. These, again, aren't playoff games. They're bowl games. So they don't still have the same, I don't know, the resemblance of some of the postseason flair there. But I did want to mention my thoughts on what I thought the single best days in sports were. So there is definitely a lot of days, 365 days, right? There's a lot of days that come and go. And it's, I don't know. I, for instance, always look forward to, I'm a big calendar guy. When someone will say, hey, whatever, April 4th or April 5th or whatever, I'm like, yeah, that's national championship night in basketball, right? Or, hey, January 12th. Wait, that's a Monday? Yeah, that's probably the football national championship. There's certain dates I have in my head that I just know, at least around that time frame. I kind of know when to expect the Final Four, obviously the Super Bowl in those months. Some people don't carry that ability in their heads. They'll schedule a wedding like during I don't know, the World Series. I'm like, do you not own calendars? Do you not own the internet? Like, I can look up what you need here. Like, come on now. Wait, you're gonna get married opening night of the NFL season? What are you thinking? I'm gonna get in trouble for some of these comments from my lovely lady and maybe some other people. But yes, Carrie Youth League, I love you. Rio Hondo Prep, absolutely love you. A terrible habit of scheduling certain things when there are big sporting events going on. And I know, there's always another game. There's always a sporting event on. But can we get a committee together or something? It doesn't have to be a lot of people, 3 or 4 people, maybe one for every sport. Or hey, you're in charge of NFL and college football. Hey, you're in charge of basketball. Hey, we want to schedule the Care Youth League Circus the first weekend in June. What do you guys think about that? Who's our baseball guy? Oh, no, hey, the NCAA baseball regionals are that weekend. We can't do it that weekend. Oh, okay. Like, that's all I'm talking about. And I know I'm the lunatic. There's things more important than sitting around and watching a sport, Matt. I understand. I'm just saying, for me, this weekend, by the way, this Saturday was the first time in, I would say, over 10 years that I was physically able to sit down and watch both games of the Final Four. Let me explain. Typically, I umpire college baseball, and even before that, professional baseball. So professional baseball, those games are always on a Saturday, the Final Four, that is. So usually a night game Saturday. So might watch some of the first game and then have to go umpire baseball. When I started umpiring college baseball, had to usually work at night or maybe a day game, and I'd miss one or both of the games. 2020, I wasn't umpiring, but they canceled the Final Four. Last year, I'm working at FedEx on Saturday evenings. This year, I was able to, I switched to the mornings. So I still work Saturday, but I was off in time. My point of my story is sometimes it's a beautiful feeling knowing, hey, I can sit and watch or stand, walk around, whatever you want to do. Maybe you want to cook in the kitchen, go outside, do some work, whatever, but have the game on, know what's going on. It was so refreshing to be able to do that. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I can't tell you how many times. Again, I'm not here to badmouth Care or Rio. You guys are my people. I got some good things to say about you here soon. But there were so many events all the time. I care for youth dinners. I can't complain about church. Church was wonderful. There was just always a fundraiser, always something or this or that. And I'm like, I remember I had to work on my heart not being hardened, with a lot of things. Like, hey, this is more important. The kids are more important than some Dodger baseball game. Yes, but it's the playoffs. Anyway, a little insight into the mind of Matt Herseman. Some of you guys are probably like, Matt, how come you're not this yet or that yet or whatever? It's because I am a lunatic. I'm a quiet lunatic for the most part. I try to keep to myself. It took me a lot of work to get out here and get pushed into, hey, do a podcast, especially one on video. I'm like, yeah. But anyway, sports calendar. If anyone wants to know, by all means, you can text me, email me. If you guys are planning a wedding or whatever, let me know. And I'll be like, no, not that weekend. Val is going to kill me, by the way, because we've already had some of these conversations and she'll bring up a month. And my first reaction is like, but I've learned to take one breath, think it over, and see if you should say the words you're about to say. Oh, that's the weekend. Never mind. Yep, that sounds good. We can do that. And I'll bring my little phone. Like, who was it? We were at a wedding, February. My buddy JC Holt's wedding. It was on a Saturday, mid-February, the Super Bowl Eve. That'll tell you the weekend. And at one point I walked over and put my phone and I started, it was UFC fight card, of course. And right. So I was watching the main event. I didn't even watch the whole card, just the main event. And I got yelled at, but whatever. We all got to do what we got to do. Anyway, enough of that stuff. First time in a long time, I was able to sit and watch some of the tournament, or not the tournament, but the tournament. Yes, all the games before, and then the Final Four and everything. Okay, I want to give props to two athletes from Rio Hondo Prep. I know I got a lot of RHP listeners out there. For those who don't know, that's where I went to school. I'm very proud of my high school and the great people and the athletes that have come and gone before them. Got to give props to Mr. Gio Ortega of the Rio Hondo Prep baseball team, who was the boys athlete of the week for the 210 prep sports area. Gio, of course, had an incredible football career at Rio, just a touchdown machine. Every time he touched the ball was looking to make an explosive play. But Gio had a great week of baseball. Let's see, what week was this? I think this was April 4th. This was announced. So the previous week, just last week, let's see, it was a great article. I posted it on the Get Home Safe podcast Facebook page. If you want to read it, it's not that long, but basically just talked about Gio Ortega's great week he had with the RHP baseball team. They beat up Providence 12-0 on Wednesday, and then played them again on Friday, and it was a big comeback. The Cares were down 12-9 in the bottom of the 8th, so an extra inning there, and they rallied for 4 runs, including a 2-run double by teammate Jonathan Guerrero to end up coming back and getting a 13-12 victory. So in the win, Gio Ortega doubled twice, scored, and drove in a game high 5 runs. That was just on Friday. Not to mention what he did on Wednesday. So congrats to Gio Ortega on another Prep 210 Prep Sports Player of the Week. And we might have a little more Rio baseball talk here. Depending on how the season goes, I'll jump on here and chat about it. But the Rio baseball team they're 10-4, 4-2 in league, trying to fight for a playoff spot there. A lot of their games are very high scoring. So a lot of bats on the Rio team. The arms are well, they're working hard. We'll say that. So another great athlete I wanted to mention on the podcast here was I messed up her name before and I don't want to do it again, but let me see. I want to make sure I get this right. Tatiana Four had a great performance for the Rio Hondo Prep softball team. She is their ace pitcher. Again, I don't know much about softball. I know that it's similar to baseball. The girls in my class didn't really love it. But the girls currently at Rio Hondo Prep are having themselves a great season, 11-2 overall and 6-0 in the prep league. So it is not just Tatiana Four who is dominating not on the mound. It's the circle, right? There in softball, but she is pitching basically every game. That's how softball works. And the Cares offense, the Lady Cares, they're really putting up some big numbers offensively. So let me see. She was the Girl Athlete of the Week, March 27th. So the week prior to Gio's great performance, it was Tatiana Four who was named the 210 Prep Sports Girls Athlete of the Week. And let's see here. Again, I posted that article on the Get Home Safe podcast Facebook page if you'd like to read it. It's not that long, but I do want to give props to the alma mater here. Boys and girls are doing great things. So let me see. Tatiana pitching. She's a 2-hit shutout and struck out 8 batters on Tuesday of last week, 2 weeks ago. 2 days later, she allowed a 1 run on 4 hits and another victory for the Cares, 9-1. So a 5-0 victory and a 9-1 victory. Allowed 1 run in 2 of her starts that week, and you got some more of the numbers there. She is currently 8-2 on the season. This is again 2 weeks ago. I'm not sure what she did last week, but she's 8-2 with a 2.19 ERA. So she has walked 17, struck out 69 in 67 innings pitched. And the Cares have won, let's see, 6 consecutive games. I thought they weren't undefeated. In the league, they're undefeated. But the Rio Hondo Prep softball team putting up some good numbers there. And I haven't been to a game. I don't know if I've ever seen a softball game except when I was in high school, but they've really done well with that field. The softball field, it used to be the old field 3. I think it still is field 3 back from the Care Youth League days, but a great little softball setup there with some tables and the home run fencing and everything. It's a nice little area, it looks like, to watch a ball game. I've seen some videos, and I know there's a lot of proud parents out there who are cheering on the Cares on the softball diamond. So baseball diamond, softball diamond, pretty close to each other. We will keep you guys updated of how the Rio Hondo Prep Cares ball clubs are doing here as we are in the month of April. I think playoffs start in May or mid-May. So it's coming quick. So I hope you guys are ready and excited for that, because I am. I don't care if it's a chess championship. If my alma mater, Rio Hondo Prep, is hanging a banner or competing for a title somewhere in something, I don't care. I'm all in. Again, the teams you love in pro or college sports, you were never really part of them. Maybe some of you guys who played college ball and stuff, but there's still kind of that tie to where we went to high school, where we played ball. And so I just want to constantly give RHP some love. And as a reminder, I'm working on a new podcast starting in the summer where it will be Rio Hondo Prep, mostly football. There might be some other sports trickled in there, but I think it's going to be officially a Rio Hondo Prep football podcast. And we may occasionally talk some other Rio Hondo Prep sports. So that's the plan. That's the plan for now. I would like your guys' feedback on that. If you guys think that's a great idea, you think it's just stick with this, whatever your thoughts are. I just want it to be a Rio Hondo only focus, because I know I go off on tangents and talk about other things on this pod sometimes, but I want that to be special for just the Rio Hondo Prep faithful, for the fans and families and all that. So that's the plan going forward. So great job to Tatiana Four and Gio Ortega out there making great plays and competing, representing Rio Hondo Prep well. Some sad news I wanted to mention. Nothing. I mean, these things happen. This is life. My uncle, Steve Hersema, my dad's only brother, passed away on April 1st. of this last week. Steve had been somebody who was in a convalescent home and really put up a long fight for a long time with his illnesses. And, all we can say is he hung in there a long time. He passed away at 70 years old, again, this past week. And I mention it just because, a lot of you guys know my dad and know what a great guy he is. And I will say one of my proudest, I guess, most proud things I have in regards to my dad is my dad was very loyal to his brother. And it's not something he necessarily talks about, but he saw his brother almost daily and, watched after him as he was struggling with an illness. And my dad, not to embarrass him or anything, this is all in sincerity. He's got a very big heart and something that I've carried with me. I'm trying to carry in his footsteps. I hope I can live up to the foundation he has set for my brother and I. So I want to mention Steve here a little bit. Steve, I don't know all the details. I tried to ask my dad. Steve was influential really at the Covina First Presbyterian Church here in Covina, California. He was a very talented musician, and he was among, I guess you'd call it a movement really of having a little more modern day music in churches with guitars and drums and all this and that. He was a member of Sounds of Faith, one of the founding members, I believe. And if you guys are curious about what that is, by all means, give it a Google. Maybe if I get some more info from my dad, I'll forward that to whoever, is interested in finding out. But he brought on Steve was a big member in that contemporary, more modern music, in the, when will this be, in the 70s, 50 something years ago or whatever. But I know my dad's very proud of Steve for that work. And I know I am as well. So rest in peace, Uncle Steve. You will be missed. And just thank you for your great work you did with the Covina First Presbyterian Church and the Sounds of Faith, excuse me. April 1st of 2022, Uncle Steve passed away. Okay, a couple of other things. I throw these things out here. I write some random things down. The Oscars were last week, right? And I know a lot of you don't watch the Oscars because you have a lot of better things to do, as do I. And we talked about the slap heard around the world last week, right, with Will Smith and everything. And it's funny how people take sides and things. But anyway, I want to bring up something about the Oscars that I thought about as I was seeing a speech or something. And when someone is giving their speech at the Oscars and it goes for a minute or two, and then the orchestra starts playing, first really quiet and then slowly crescendos it to let the award recipient know, hey, it's time to wrap up your speech. And sometimes it's funny, sometimes the leading actress or the leading actor, they get a little longer than maybe some of the earlier awards, right? The music it's funny how the music only starts for some people, right? But it got me thinking, it would be awesome if you're having a conversation with someone, or just not even just interactions with people, grocery stores. I bring that up a lot, right? Because we're all in those lines. But don't you wish, guys, in life, there was a button you had on your hip or something where someone was talking and you could just flip the switch and they'd start to hear music and they would know, oh, it's time to wrap it up. If they don't get it, you turn it up a little bit. I'll be honest right now. I thought of it, and some of you guys will call me sacrilegious and smite me down or whatever. But I've thought about this a time or two when people were in the pulpit giving a sermon, a few times. I'm like, all right, you're repeating your points. I got your point. Let's start the music. Start the music. It was a teaching lecture. I'm giving examples here, not just a slam the Christianity or anything, slam the churchgoers. I know how passionate some people are about their sermons, and they put so much of their heart into it. It's a joke, guys. Joke. Start the music there on the message there when is speaking. I'm kidding. But yeah, teachers. Oh my goodness, can't tell you how many times. I will tell you, won't tell you which work it was, what job it was, but I've been a part of different clinics, or we'll say instruction, where it's like, okay, can someone start the music here? Can we clear the stage? Let's move on here. I'm ready. Maybe some of you guys in your arguments with your wives, husbands, significant others, maybe thought about, hey, can we start the music? Some of orchestra, start the music. You guys think I'm nuts or what? I know there's people who listen to this, and either you find the humor in it that I do, or you roll your eyes and you just go, man, that guy's got to get a life. How does someone think of those things? I want you guys to think about that. The next time, if this hits you next week or a month later, I want you to be like, yeah, I wish it would have had an Oscar orchestra to play that guy off the stage because he just keeps repeating himself. I don't like giving the Oscars props. I try to boycott the Oscars. I do see highlights here and there, but I found that funny. And again, I don't think it's whoever's running the clock down there. They're not equal. They're not equal to some cartoon producer as well as the Oscar actor in a supporting role. They're kind of inconsistent. So come on, Oscars, you're all about equity and all that, those JV words. So anyway, Oscar orchestra. I want you to think of that in the back of your head this week when something comes up or someone is just dragging. Maybe you're thinking it right now as I'm talking to you. Like, play the music, play Hersham off the stage. I get it. Let me see here. A few other things. Oh, you know who I have mad respect for? This is just a whole nother level. Look at In-N-Out Burger is fantastic. If you disagree, then I don't know what's wrong with you, but most people out there will agree that In-N-Out Burger is it's just special. It's different. It's us here in Southern California. It is, I don't know. It's the gold standard. What I have a tremendous respect for, we've all seen those long In-N-Out lines, right? We've all seen them maybe after midnight, maybe, when we've all been out doing partying or something, maybe after 10, when it's after a football game or something, maybe at like, I don't know, 4:30 when someone's trying to beat that dinner rush of people getting off of work. And, the lines are usually wrapped around the building, right? Because it's quality you can taste, literally, as is their slogan. But you know who I have just mad respect for? I drove by and I chuckled, I smiled. I even wanted to point out the window and be like, I respect you, sir. Was the dude at the In-N-Out car line right at 10:30 a.m. Yes, that is when In-N-Out Burger opens up, 10:30 a.m. And they don't have a breakfast menu. That is their kickoff. That is when they throw the ball up. That is when the first pitch is thrown, 10:30 a.m. And most of us eat lunch, right? Maybe the earliest at 11 a.m. But I got mad respect for the dude at 10:30 that at about 10:20, 10:25 had the presence of mind to one of two things: either go to In-N-Out and I'm going to be first in line at In-N-Out. I'm going to get this thing started off right. Or the guy that said, oh man, In-N-Out, can I go there? Is it too early? Who's going to judge me? I can go to In-N-Out at 10:30. Why not? Why not? We got all kinds of crazy things going on in this country that I won't get into, but what's wrong with going to In-N-Out at 10:30 in the morning? That would be morning burger phobic. That would be shaming. We can't shame people who want to have an In-N-Out burger at 10:30 in the morning. I stand with these people in solidarity. Solidarity. It is your God-given right to go to In-N-Out Burger at 10:30 in the morning. And you know what? You should get animal style fries just to show the world that you're not afraid and you will not be intimidated. These are the people I respect. Now, could I go to In-N-Out probably a lot less? Yes, I could. And I'm making it one of my biggest efforts to not do so. Because In-N-Out's funny. It's obviously fast food, but it's the best quality fast food. And you start to play that game when you drive by and you're like, well, it's actually fresh and cooked. Like, it's not processed. Like, no, okay, it's not that bad. Okay, well, no, I won't get animal fries. I mean, fries. I'll get fries. Okay. Double 3x3. Yeah, 3x3. Okay, protein style. But let's add a third patty. Let's go 3x3 protein style. And then animal, no, regular fries. And then my favorite, which is a lot of people do, and a Diet Coke. We used to make fun of people who did that. Now I'm like, I'm one of them. This is what happens in your late 30s. And then have you ever done the fast food thing? God, you guys are looking at me, Matt, you got to stop. I know. I honestly, that is one area I fail in a lot of other areas. But I'm okay as far as fast food, like staying away. I can be like, okay, I'm not doing that anymore. Bread's a little harder. Sugar's not that hard. That's easy to walk away. But fast food is funny because you'll do the thing where, oh, I haven't had it in a while. You know, you shouldn't, but you go anyway. And then, you know, God's speaking to you when you go and you go through that Del Taco and you get that food and you're looking forward to it. And it's just like, you haven't had it in a while. You're anticipating and you're doing it. You shouldn't do it. You're breaking your diet. And then it's like cold fries or a terribly wrapped burrito. And it's just like, God speaks to us in many ways. And this picture is as clear as day right now. He didn't want you to do this. He's laughing at you. You know, you shouldn't have. I'm just saying, this isn't in the Bible. I understand. And I'm not, you guys know me. I'm a God-fearing man. I can always improve my spiritual journey. Would like to, but it's moments like that where I just, as much as I respect the dude in the In-N-Out drive-thru at 10:30, I also, you know, look at myself with shame in the mirror as I eat those cold fries, every one of them. Just can't waste them. And I'm just like, you shouldn't have done this. You're better than this. And thankfully, that is my lasting memory of fast food for the next, you know, month or so. When I'm like, no, last time I had it, I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have done it. And anyway, those are some recent experiences I have had that I wanted to point out to you guys. You might find them ridiculous, may think I'm nuts, and that's fine. This is an opportunity for me to jump in front of a microphone, ramble away, not have people looking at me, which I hate, and just push a button. So anyway, there's that. Speaking of microphones, Major League Baseball has officially started their miking up of Major League Baseball umpires. Ted Barrett on, I think it was Monday night, maybe Sunday, was among the first Major League Baseball umpires to formally give an announcement after an instant replay review. It wasn't a big mic or a headset or anything. It was just an earpiece. He flipped the mic on like an NHL ref or an NFL white hot. And it was pretty simple. After further review, that I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was not a hit by pitch. The Angels lose their challenge and the call is confirmed or whatever it was. So get used to that as you go to baseball games, or maybe if you're watching a baseball game, be sure to have the sound up because you will get an official announcement now of what exactly the umpires or the replay crew in New York saw. So they're trying to make it more fan friendly or just give explanations more, maybe for the teams out there too. It looks weird, but a lot of things look weird when you officially start them up, right? When you get them going. So it's just another step towards technology. I'm not sure how I feel about it right now. But in some ways, for some weird rules, I think it will be beneficial. But for the most part, usually it's like, no, he was safe or no, he was out. But again, some things don't fit in some sports like they do in others. But for now, that's what they're doing. So keep an eye on. I'm not sold yet. I need to see it a few more times to be. I'm curious what the umpires. I'm going to ask around, see how they feel about this. If you know, some of these crew chiefs have been in the big leagues 20, 30 years, and you know, if this is something they want to adapt to, or maybe they're embracing it. I'm not sure, but it looks weird. And you know me, I'm all about the officials. Also, speaking of officials, there is a strong possibility we may have back on the podcast one of my favorite guests I've ever had on the podcast. Kind of a couple months into my podcasting journey here, I reached out to a very successful college basketball referee who I've come in contact with when I was doing instant replay stuff for the Big West. And he was just a phenomenal interview. And it was back in, let me see, June of 2020, I believe. And I had on the program Mr. Tony Padilla, who had worked 2 Final Fours at that point. He recently worked the most recent Final Four, and he was on the game Duke versus Carolina. He was one of 11 officials selected for the Final Four. 3 guys obviously work one semifinal, 3 guys the other, and 1 alternate is the alternate for both games. So there's your 7. And then obviously the national championship game, 3 officials plus 1 alternate. That's how you get your 7 guys. So Tony worked the Duke Carolina game. I would love to sit down and talk with him. He's already agreed to do it. So we just got to find time to get it done, and hopefully sooner rather than later, so we can have kind of an immediate recap of the Final Four. But one of the best in the business. I was really had my fingers crossed that he would get that Monday night assignment finally that he's been working so hard for. But hey, there's always next year and the year after. So Tony Padilla, can't wait to have him back on the podcast to have an updated conversation after, I've learned to talk a little bit better, still not great, but I've talk a little bit better with these interviews. All right. Two things. The Frozen Four is this weekend. For those that aren't aware of that, it's the men's hockey semifinal and final. 2 games Thursday night at 2 and 5:30, I believe, here on the West Coast. It is Michigan against Denver, the best West Coast team, I guess you would call it. And then Minnesota State in the second semifinal Thursday night at 5:30, followed by the national championship on Saturday in the afternoon. So I know you guys probably don't watch much college hockey. I don't either, but I try to watch the Frozen Four. And again, this year, I'll be able to sit down and watch these things, not have distractions, which is nice. And after that, usually the Frozen Four fires me up a little bit more for the NHL playoffs and the regular season finishing up. The Kings got, about a dozen games left, and they're looking pretty good, looking like they're going to be in the postseason. So I'm excited about that, as now that March Madness is out of the way. That's kind of my next wave of sports fandom here for this weekend, and then into the month of May with the NHL playoffs and such. So just a brief announcement there. And then a lot of people were talking to me about the U.S. soccer draw in the World Cup, right? The world's game. The way we should always like what the world likes, apparently. So I started on a list last week and actually got some reviews, some suggestions from some people. Will Tarico specifically asking me if I would rather watch soccer, because I told people, I said, there's so many things I'd rather watch than soccer. And there were some things thrown at me that it really made me think. So if you guys are bored and you see something and you want to, again, I love the interaction. You want to email me or whatever, be like, Matt, would you rather watch soccer over this? Because I'll tell you right now, I don't care how many people want to watch it. I'm not watching one. Are they still called seconds? Even though the clock counts up in soccer or whatever, and the games can end in ties and guys fake injuries all the time and blah, blah, blah. I'm not watching one soccer second of the World Cup unless I walk by and it's on accident. I am that un-American that I will not watch a U.S. play in soccer. I guess they got a decent draw. I say that now, but watch, I'll probably end up accidentally watching it or something. But I got some questions about, okay, would you watch the Oscars over soccer? I'm like, oh man, that's a tough one. So I have to admit, there are some things I'd rather watch soccer than these events. And so I started to justify and be like, okay, the Oscars, it's like 3.5 hours. What's a soccer match? 2 hours? I'm like, oh, that is a tough one. I don't like the Oscars. I hate all those people, but that's a tough call. I was like, soap opera. Soap opera is only an hour. I think I could watch a soap opera over watching a soccer match. I really could. Time is everything. So if it's CNN, I wrote that down. I'm like, oh my goodness. Well, you usually see CNN clips. I don't know if I can stomach through a whole show of CNN over soccer. And you guys are probably all like, Matt, you're an idiot. Just watch the soccer game, the soccer match, whatever. The Weather Channel, that's one I wrote down. Like, can I watch a Weather Channel, like extended? Say if it's something generic like the Weather Channel, then it's got to be 2 hours of the Weather Channel, like the soccer game is 2 hours. So I want to hear more ideas from you guys as to Matt, would you watch this over soccer, or would you watch soccer over this? Because I think it's a rich area. Will Tarico, I think he asked me, would you watch The View? I go, absolutely not. Absolutely. Go USA. Go USA. Go. Kick that ball. Go team, go. I would no soccer all the way. I'd even wear one of those soccer headbands or something. I don't know. The View. That is I wouldn't wish The View to be watched by guys on death row. That is, I can't even say it. The View. No. Go soccer. I've definitely watched that. And the Oscars, that's a tough one. The Oscars are long. There's some nice music. I might watch soccer over the Oscars. Keep them coming, guys. I have to struggle with this now, this decision. Thankfully, I don't have to make the decision. It's just a hypothetical, but I want to hear from you guys. Let's get some interaction. Matt, real quick, Oscars or soccer? I would watch the Grammys over soccer because at least there's good musical performances. It's a little political, but much rather watch the Grammys over soccer. Okay. Those are my thoughts for today, guys. I know I'm all over the place. I didn't even get to a few other things I wanted to regarding, well, I'll get to it another day. But that's enough. I just wanted to jump on here. Again, I try to keep Tuesdays at about 45 minutes. I know you guys don't want to hear me all night. And again, someone out there's playing the orchestra music, right? Play that Oscar orchestra music, Matt, finish it up. So I'm going to do that. We do have a guest on Friday. I've already recorded a couple of different options. I'm not going to tell you yet who I have on, but I can promise you our guests the next 2, even 3 weeks, you guys are going to love, whether you are Rio Hondo Prep related or not, affiliated, I should say. You're going to love some of the guests we have coming on. We have a guy who was a detective in homicide for LAPD for like 30 years, who was also a football official. That's a non-Rio Hondo guy, obviously. We have potentially a firefighter coming on who may or may not be affiliated with Rio Hondo Prep. And then, a few other guys. There is one person who I've already recorded with that I know a lot of people have been pushing me for a long time to get on the podcast. We finally got the recording done, and maybe that one will be Friday. I don't know. You guys will have to stay tuned and look on our social media platforms on Thursday for who's coming on the show on Friday. And if you guys listen to these Tuesday episodes, every now and then you might get a hint or two from me. So ever more the reason to tune in on the Tuesday edition of the podcast. But Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, check it out on Thursday. I will post who's coming on Friday, and always look on those social media platforms as well for articles and things I post that you guys might find interesting related to Rio Hondo Prep or to just my overall thoughts on the craziness going on in the world. Enough for me. Stand in solidarity with those who go to In-N-Out drive-thrus at 10:30. If you're tempted to go to other fast food, don't do it. It's a mistake. And what else did I say today? Oscar orchestra music. Think about it. And soccer or this. Send me those thoughts, guys. GetHomeSafePodcast@yahoo.com. Congrats to the Kansas Jayhawks, national champions for the 4th time in school history. And who will win the hockey national championship this weekend? Frozen Four on Thursday, 2 games, single championship game on Saturday. Be sure to tune in on the ESPN family of networks. Oh, I can't believe I just gave them credit. Anyway, guys, we'll see you on Friday. Stay tuned on social media for upcoming information. But guys, as always, no matter what we're doing, whether you're out on the town or rounding third base, get home safe.